Our program, we've established a clear business case for gender diversity. Firstly, it's all about making the most of all the available talent that is in the community. Obviously, it's 50% women, approximately 50% men. If we're only sourcing our people from half the population, then we're not making the best availability of all the talents, and obviously our business won't perform as well as it could if we were using all of the available resources in the country. Secondly, we also think that particularly at a management level, having diversity around the management table, around the board table, actually means you make better decisions because you get more different issues and different factors come into the decision-making process. So I think a key driver for us in terms of the business cases is one, that our workforce looks like the population that we work in, and secondly, particularly around the board and management table, we have diversity which leads to better decision-making. I think it's important to understand that it's no point just taking one action and thinking you're going to get a result. What's important is taking a collective of actions designed to suit your enterprise to achieve the outcome you want. And so certainly by having a number of actions and following through on those actions, we've seen over the last 3 years a significant improvement in our gender diversity, both in our field workforce as well as in our management and board. We're very proud to say now that we're one of only a few ASX 200 companies that has a 50-50 balanced non-executive director board, 3 males and 3 females. Yeah, the key actions that we've taken to develop a fully gender diverse workforce in our organisation is firstly, we've sold the business case. Originally I wrote a letter to the entire workforce to explain the business case built around taking advantage of all the talents available across the entire community rather than just half the population, and also the benefits of having a truly diverse decision-making process around the table. Secondly, we established targets. We have felt that having clear measurable targets, just like we do in every other part of the business, was an important part of the process. The third key action was looking at our work practices and ensuring that they work as well for women as they do for men. It is common, I think, to see that most work practices have been designed many years ago, mainly by men, for men. And that was an interesting conversation I had one day with a group of our mainly male older workers, where they were challenging us, why do we need to change the way we work just to allow more women to work in our organisation? And I explained to them that we change our work practices to suit many other situations. For instance, we have an ageing workforce, and we decided to reduce the maximum weight that they would carry from 20 kilograms to 15 kilograms so that some of our older, mainly men at that particular time, could work longer in their career. Most people accepted that change, so why can't we accept a change to maybe starting times to suit some women so that they can pick up their kids from school, or other work changes as well. So I think by expressing that view that we make lots of system changes to our work practices all the time, there is no issue about making system changes to our work practices to allow for more women to participate in our workforce. A fourth key action was to show leadership. Myself and my management team have all been showing leadership in this area. I've taken on the role as convener of the CEOs for Gender Equity here in Western Australia as part of a demonstration that myself and the company really do believe in the value of a gender diverse workforce. Over the last 3 years, since we established the business case and set the targets, we've seen a significant improvement in our gender diversity in our organisation. We've moved our board from 30% to 50%. We've moved our management team from about 20% to nearly 50%. We've moved our entire employee organisation to a 50-50 balanced organisation. And probably in the most difficult area, in the trades-based field workers areas, we've improved ourselves from a very low 8% to now about 14%, and we know we've still got a lot more to go in that area. Whilst I've been on this journey to achieve a gender-balanced workforce, I think the key learning is that it is all about leadership. It's all about stating a position, making a case, and then driving the actions throughout your organisation. Equally, I think it's important not just to look inside your enterprise. I think you have to take on a wider community active role to make sure that wider society understand why we think it's important. With particular reference to our goal to increase the diversity of women within our trades workforce, it's quite clear that there's a broader society cultural change required here. Most young girls, certainly by the time they're 14 or 15, have already self-selected not to look at many of these occupations like electrician, painter, carpenter, building supervisor, etc. All occupations that earn higher than average income, give you great flexibility as you go through your working life, because you could set up and become a sole trader, you could set up and work in a part-time service arrangement, but clearly young girls, when they're at school, do not believe that's an occupation they want to follow. So we are now participating through the CEOs for Gender Equity, as well as some other avenues, to see how we can promote to all girls in the community that they can look at these occupations, which we think will give better life outcomes for them than many other choices they're making.